welcome back to Switch to Linux. It is Friday, I think. It's been a weird week. And it is time to cover the weekly news roundup. And there's just been a lot of news all over the place. Let's go ahead and start out by having a quick look at the comments before we get started here. So, Shatur, hello. How's it going there? Spider Eyes, greetings. I will try and keep this interesting, especially for all y'all staying up until 2 a.m. Daniel, how's it going there? Joey, how are you? Thank God I work for myself. Don't need to be up at 7 anymore. Yeah, I'm with you there. You know, I mean, I closed so many restaurants when I was in high school and college that I think I'm just like on that permanent second shift, and that's why I work until 2 or 3 in the morning. It's comfortable to me, and then I wake up without an alarm clock, and oh man, I'll tell you what, alarm clocks are like, I mean, those things cause heart attacks. I mean, we should put big old Surgeon General warnings on those. Because, man, it is just completely unnatural being forced and jarred awake. You're pleasantly sleeping, and then all of a sudden, and then it's just like, yeah, you're done. So, well, anyway, okay, so, yeah, Spider Eyes says I'll hold something up, but it won't be on my ID, and you won't ask for it again. You know, I chose not to cover that article this week. There was a teenage kid who sent some sexting pictures along to someone and ended up getting in trouble for distributing child pornography. So, yeah, we're not going to go there. Hello, Kathy. Hello, JJ Games. No, looking at Tom's graphic in the upper right corner. Oh, boy. Hello, Carbon Programmer, Google, whatever. How many languages can I speak? Half? I'm not sure I speak the one I speak fluently. Shell for Apple, don't trust his wandering eye. Apple, yay. Yes, Prophetic, we are just starting up. Hello, I can't pronounce that one. Zerlock Mikey? I don't know. Archai386, how's it going there? Saturday, 4 a.m. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty late for you then. KO2610. All right. Ivan is drinking a cold beer. All right. At work right now watching. Cool. Hey, Harold. How are you? Tom, how much do I know about Sailfish OS and Jolla? Not a lot, but I think I'm going to want to research one of those soon. Hello, Chip. How's it going there? Who said there's anything dirty? I don't know. Just, you should see the, some of the articles that I threw off, today. I can speak a little bit of Mandarin. Cool. Well, I think the kitty's coming over to say hi. Roar.
Hello, everybody. Good Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, whatever it happens to be where you are.
Thank you, kitty. All right. So, for today, we are going to start, I guess, real other brief updates. I got the Ubuntu computer over here running. Yeah, I'm not going to last a month on it. It's nah. It's just nah. We'll go as far as I can on it. Anyway, our topics for today, we are going to talk about Equisucks. Lots of articles on Equisucks. I just didn't want to title the thing Equisucks because, you know, we did Equifax as our main articles last week, I think. Then we're going to look at some of the Apple release stuff. I have a category called 1984. And then I found 2 articles that are showing us a little bit of promise, and so that's kind of what we're gonna move into here. So let's go ahead and get started on here. If I can find my websites, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and all right, there we are. Okay, so what we're gonna start out with is looking at some of the Equifax fallout. So this Equifax thing is just a bigger deal, especially if you're a U.S. person. I'll tell you what, the fallout on this is absolutely crazy. And so first, we now know what caused the breach. Yeah, remember that whole Apache Struts thing? I'm not sure I talked about it just because it was more of a technical thing, but Apache Struts vulnerability was released and patched in March. They waited until July to fix it after the data breach. So it was a package that was known vulnerable. All companies knew about it. They simply chose not to patch the thing from March, when the patch was actually released, until July 29th is when they actually patched it. So what is that? March, April, May, June, July. So 5 months they went with an absolute critical, known, this is a huge deal breach. This is such a huge patch. You should have shut your systems down and dealt with the bad PR to say, we are securing the systems and they'll be up as quick as possible. That's what happened. They waited 5 months to patch this thing, and that's actually how the data breach happened. Although it's unknown, like we know they got in with the Apache Struts. We don't know exactly how they moved laterally inside the system. That's still yet ongoing. But regardless, this was just such an absolutely critical failure on behalf of the company to actually secure what they're doing. And so that's kind of what happened here. So you can read all about it on their thing here. Probably at this point, visiting this website probably waives your rights to anything, but oh well. And of course, regarding the Equifax, the FTC would like to remind you that Equifax is not calling you to confirm your identity and tell you that you've been hacked. These would be people trying to get a little bit more information, verifying phone numbers. These are the scammers that stole your data. So if somebody calls, ring, ring, this is Equifax calling to verify your account information. Yeah, don't tell them anything. Or, you know, pull a Tom. Give them all sorts of funny stuff. And record it and put it up on YouTube. So that's kind of, just be aware of that already. And guys, the scammers are getting so on top of this stuff because they realize that the legal system is so slow. In fact, I'm going to go back, like, I'll tell you one of the best TV programs ever. There was only 5 seasons of it, and they ended a few years ago, was Leverage. Because they hit some of the most fascinating concepts, basing a lot of the things on real stories. In that case, one of the ones in the 5th season, I forget the title of this episode, but in the 5th season, there was a guy in the CIA who he's put together these fast teams to counter terrorism, and some Congress idiots like, you can't do these fast teams anymore. They break the laws, which is very true. They break the laws, but what happens is that people like scammers can get in on the ground floor, and it takes the government 3 or 4 years to actually catch up with them. They can come in here, steal all the stuff, do all their havoc, and in 5 years' time, they could completely change everything about themselves, especially with all the money that they steal from people. And so we are at a critical time where we do need to move a little bit quicker. But this is also a critical time. I would like to use this data breach to say, maybe we need to have laws that require an absolute, explicit, written, signed on physical paper, a opt-in to collect any form of data, and no company you don't do any business with may have any of your company data in any way, shape, or form, period. That's what we need to do to stop this stuff. Because it's very clear that these companies are not really interested. And of course, there's more. The CIO and the CSO, so the information officer and the security officer, they're retiring. No, I hope that they get a swift iron boot out the door and get no compensation. Dump them. Like, okay, no, you guys caused us so much money. We don't care what's in your contract. You're done. You can sue us. And if we have anything left at the end, maybe we'll give you a couple of cents. That's what needs to happen with these idiots. All right, and by the way, I forget if it's the CIO or the CSO. In fact, hold on. Let me go down and find it, actually, because somebody actually looked this person up. So this is the Chief Security Officer's Education. Music. Way to go, Equifax. Would you like to put somebody in basket weaving in the information officer's position? Curious. But these guys are retiring. No, they should get a swift iron boot out the door. And then they should be completely fine. They should have all of their assets frozen and determine exactly what they are. Make them live on minimum wage for a while. Let's see how well they make it. maybe after the investigation's done, we can consider unlocking some of their assets. That is what's going to change corporate America, folks. That's what's going to change it. And then, of course, in light of everybody's like, hey, I want credit monitoring, but I'm not sure I really want Equifax's credit monitoring. Apparently, TransUnion increased their price 50%. They went from $9.95 to $14.95 for anybody, new people or long-term people. If you've purchased this in the past, expect to see this 50% increase in your bill with with no notice. And then, of course, if you need things frozen, let me tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm not sure this is going to fly, but I'm going to try it, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to go through the process of doing all my credit freezing, and I'm just going to include, instead of the payment, I'm just going to include a letter to say, go bill Equifax. I'm going to see what happens. Which isn't too bad of a deal because one senator is trying to introduce a bill that would make all credit freezes and unfreezes free. And this is something that absolutely has to happen. I don't know much about this particular senator here, but I really think that this person, I want to see this bill passed. I want to see it passed quickly with no amendments, just pass the thing. Let's stop tiptoeing through the tulips with all these bills. Stop adding little sub-agendas to things. Every bill should go and have one item. Nothing unrelated to that bill should ever be amended to that bill. That way we can pass the thing without worrying about is some third world rainforest getting saved or knocked down because this bill has passed on security and privacy. But that's usually what happens with these bills is some pet guy would be like, I'll vote for it if we can add the amendment to save the rainforests. It's like, it's a bill on privacy. We don't need to talk about saving the rainforests. Save that for another bill, okay? But what this person is doing is saying that in light of all of this, they want to have all credit freezes from all credit bureaus completely free. And this is what has to happen. I think that, in my opinion, I think that the government should be compelled, or actually the government should compel Equifax to pay for all freezes and all unfreezes for the next 10 years for every United States citizen. And then let their CEO go work at McDonald's for a while. He apparently doesn't deserve his pay. All right. And so she has this bill here, and I think I have the text for it. No, there was a text. Is this it? Nope, that's another issue. So she basically has the bill here for it, and she also wants a bill to prevent employers from looking up credit scores, which is why would your employer need to look up your credit score? I mean, this is just ridiculous. There's no reason why your credit score, except maybe if you're like a CFO, maybe if you are in a position that handles a lot of money or in managing multi-million-dollar budgets. I think in those situations, yeah, we can look at the credit report just as a precautionary thing. Make sure that they're not, eyeballs up in debt because they might run off with millions of dollars in money or embezzle stuff, or if they're not really all that good with money at all. But the reality is the only way to have a good credit score is if you borrow a lot of money, and that's never a good thing. Stop borrowing money. But she would like to introduce a bill to prevent employers from looking up credit reports. Here's another curious one. Why does your credit score determine how much you pay in car insurance? It's completely unrelated. Okay? A credit score should only be applicable for borrowing money, but we need a completely new system. I think everything about how we borrow money right now should just be completely obliterated because hackers stole the information for every United States adult. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Then the next thing, of course, is that Equifax is now using this opportunity. They're turning the who spoke Mandarin. What's the word in Chinese for crisis? Actually, is a compound word containing opportunity inside of tragedy. So with every tragedy, there's an opportunity in it. Okay, and so they're basically saying, hey, this is so tragic, we've lost all of this stuff, but you know what's really funny? What's really funny is that we can actually go ahead and now start selling our credit monitoring. And so 30 different attorneys general's offices wrote a very poignant letter to them saying, hey, you really, really need to stop pushing your services for the mistake you made. And so they wrote, it's like a 6-page letter, but in reality, there's only like 2 pages of text because everything else is signatures and state logos. So basically, they're concerned about it. They make it very clear. In the first, it was completely and totally Equifax's failure to patch software. The breach exposed personal information on over half of the United States residents, which consequently is every adult. The other half are, crazy off the gridders, almost sort of like myself, or some other folks. And so we have that going for us. Let's see. And then now they're wanting people to sign up for their credit thing, which, by the way, even if you were breached and you are enrolling in Equifax's ID protection, which you should not do at all, show the company your favorite finger, I think, then in which case, then what you should do is we should then, in that case, you still have to give them a credit card number. Which, by the way, 200 million, I think it was 200 million credit card numbers were also stolen. Every credit card used at Equifax for the last 6 months or so. And then the states are basically saying, you need to stop doing this. That the branding is completely confusing right now because they're still pushing a paid service and they have a free service. So it's basically doing a lot of things, and they're kind of giving them, I think, a week to reply. No, it's a month to reply. I forget where the reply date was. But this is kind of what's going on there. So that's kind of the stuff that's happening. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the comments. The comments are just going crazy, so let's go ahead and have a look at those. Let me, there's a cat. There's a kitty. All right. All right, let's see. Good, KDE phone. Yeah, and hopefully soon I'll start messing around with experimenting with a KDE phone. It's on the radar. It's on the radar. What? Yeah. Let's see. Love staying up till 3 or 4 a.m., going to bed, waking up when I want to work, and work late at night. Yep, I work late at night because I get bothered by clients a whole lot less late at night. Cortana is as messed by TOS and FOSS. Okay. It's Friday afternoon where I am. Cool. I can speak the Martian language. All right. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yep. Sounds positively Orwellian. Hey, Fat Elvis, how's it going? Yep. 1984. Yay, good days. Van Halen, jump. Bring back some memories. Okay, let's hear some Martian and Orwellian double speak, huh? All right, let's see. I have to use Facebook for my school, so I use Facebook. You have to use Facebook for school? That's creepy. Tell the school no. Ask the school principal if he's ever sat down and read. You know what you should do, Carbon? I'm going to call you Carbon because you're the last part of it. You should ask every teacher and every principal, have you read line for line the terms and conditions and the privacy policy in Facebook? And when they say, of course I haven't, say, I'm not using it. If you want me to use this, you read everything, and then we're going to have a discussion, and then we'll talk about what we read. That's what I think. Double plus good speak. Yep. Oh, wrong think. Yeah. Wrong think. Oh, Facebook's bad. Wrong think. I remember playing at the skating rink when we used to go skating. That was always a fun one to get. A computer at my school had a Windows kernel error, so the easiest thing to do would be to reinstall Windows 7 or replace the kernel, right? Wrong. They just threw it away the hard drive. Well, I mean, I'd do a disk scan and see if the hard drive is starting to fail. And all these people call themselves technicians. Yeah, well, they're technicians, but remember, we're in a throwaway world right now. You know, you used to have repairs because a TV or VCR would cost hundreds of dollars, but you fix it for like $50. You know, but now it's like, oh, so-and-so went bad. Oh, just throw it away, buy a new one, which is a total waste. Total waste. These virtual machines for the online accounts. Yep. Equifax. I found a fascinating article appropriate for web devs that performs a post-mortem and details exactly what happened with the breach. Nice. No, I think I'm kind of done looking at Equifax. I want to see fire, Tom. How about jail for the CIO, CSE, or I'm guessing CSO and CEO? I think jail would be a good thing. Yeah, I think jail would be a fine thing. Use all the social media on virtual machines. Yep. How can huge companies with, I guess, dedicated security teams mess up? I just don't understand how huge companies can have any flaws regarding to it unless it's a zero-day exploit. Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't a zero-day. I mean, come on, the hackers gave them 3 or 4 months to patch the thing. They just didn't. So like, all right, we're just going to steal the data. Part of a diversity tax. The security officer was a woman. But she could play trombone. And that's what's important here. Highway robbery from Transforce. This is sad. All right. Tiptoeing through the tulips. Stealing that one, yep. Tiny Tim is a legend. I'm going to possibly use Linux and Unix for the rest of my existence unless these companies change respect to privacy. Absolutely. Absolutely, you know. And that's the thing is we need to push back. But the more we don't push back, then the more we are going to, you know, fall into those issues. Let's see. It's not only U.S. data breach affect U.K. and Canada and perhaps Mexico. Yes. Yes. It did breach more than the United States. Facebook used to be a real social media network, but degraded into a marketing firm. That's all it is now. I mean, the few times I jump over there on that one computer that can access Facebook is just like, why do people use this? It's so stupid and annoying. Disagree with you on the need to look up potential employee credit scores. As an internal auditor, and there are high correlation between low credit scores and fraud and theft. Yeah, again, though, look at what the type of job it is. Okay, if we're talking about something that deals with a lot of money or things, then I would agree with that. But I really don't see a purpose otherwise. Microsoft is degrading into a marketing firm as well. No, Microsoft collapsed completely into a marketing firm. All right. Microsoft made real operating systems that created different editions of their Windows OS. They no longer make new editions. Yep. If you're a web dev, you will enjoy the postmortem of Equifax data breach. Okay, I remember the days when OS upgrades used to be something I look forward to. Now it's just a nightmare of things that has to be screwed up or taken away. Yeah. That's the thing is that I would push updates a whole lot more if I could get security updates, not feature updates, because I don't want your new features, okay? I got used to the system. I know how to use it. I don't want your feature updates. Give me your feature updates when I get a new computer. That'd be fine with me. All right. Last edition I used was Windows 7. Yep. That's it. This Ubuntu computer behind me can load into Windows 8.1, which I should probably do that soon, as I use that to archive my emails. Haven't done it in a while. Linux kernel is not as secure as it used to be, according to Linus, because there are always some bugs. Remember, there's not any single OS is perfect. That is correct, yeah. We just have to, stay on top of it, be intelligent with what we're doing. Try using Apple machines at school, and the lag can sometimes be worse than Linux or Windows. Okay, Equifax affected also in Canadian consumers. Of course, they're tight-lipped on how many. Yep. Hey, Demiano, how's it going there? Linus invites smart people, hackers, to work with Linux kernel instead of attacking it. I saw that. I didn't watch the video or it was an interview, but I did see it existed. Facebook account is for extracurricular activities. Still, it doesn't matter, Hey, Anarita, how's it going there? Funny, today I was walking downtown. Guess who I met? A guy with a 360 camera doing street view. Ooh. It's a cute kitty with his handsome owner. Yeah, he's cute. Yeah, you cute. I'm cute. All right. You want to see real cute? Yeah, there's cute. Yeah, whoa. The book should be mandatory read would be 1984 is ever so Hey, leave my mouse alone, kitty. What? Any thoughts on running Linux and AMD Threadripper CPUs and the Vega GPUs? I have no idea. I kind of am a Linux learn as I need it, and I have not needed that. All right. Didn't say cheese to the camera. Rose in my high school years was 1984 was part of the studies. Yeah, it wasn't part of mine. Why not use Linux and give everything one must need? Can I have that? Can I have that? Yeah, I want that. That's mine. Thank you. Equihacks management panels, usernames and passwords are admin. Yeah, that's really funny. If you saw that, I think it was our office in Argentina. It was admin to get into it. Yep. I use Fedora for my daily driver. Cool. All right. Microsoft was better when Bill Gates ran it. Agreed. Yep. It's the best online email service, not Gmail. You know, a lot of people ask me that. I have no idea because I have a registered domain. I have a cPanel, and I run all my email through a cPanel. That's what I do, which works perfectly fine. And that's really what I do. According to what other people are saying, Proton Mail, you want to look into Proton Mail, look into that one, which is Switzerland-based. And I think it's free if you use their online system. If you want to attach it to an email client, then you have to pay, I think, if I remember correctly. I had to explain to them, what is security? That's an old myth. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Kitty has your pen cap. Yeah, he loves pen caps. It's like his favorite thing in the world. What? What are you doing? You want the mouse? I don't know the full capacities of Facebook tracking so far. I only know I can contain it in a virtual machine. There goes my password. Yep. How's the KDE Plasma performance on 26? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm on GNOME right now with Ubuntu for at least I'm gonna shoot for 2 weeks. It's already driving me mad, but I'll give it 2 weeks at least so I can have a good and honest assessment. All right, so let's go ahead and have a look at Apple. Apple released some new stuff there at their conference. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what they did. So they skipped over the 7S? Like, no 7S. What happened? They gave us the 8 and the 8 Plus and the iPhone. And it is pronounced iPhone 10. For those curious, I'm not sure why, but that is according to what I've been seeing. Maybe I'm incorrect about that, but that's what I have seen. So, of course, they, here's all the information. The biggest deal about it, the good thing is, as far as the 8s are concerned, the 8s have your traditional fingerprint with your button thingy on it, right? So they have that. But the big thing now is you can push the home button 5 times and a biometric trackers will no longer work until you enter your passcode again. This is kind of their answer to what's going on with border security and other people really trying to force biometrics to get into a phone, because in many instances people are still suggesting that you cannot be compelled to give up your passcode. Just don't tell the guy that's still in jail in Baltimore. But they're basically doing that so that if you push that button 5 times fast, nobody can get into your phone with any biometrics. And so that's something that is there. But on the iPhone 10 or the X, whichever you want to call it, the iPhone 10 doesn't even have a screen anymore. All it has is biometrics. And that's where they're going. It's got the face scanner, so they got the Face ID or they got the Touch ID. That's what they got. All right, so now, oh yes, 7-layer color processes, 50%, and it's like glass designs, which makes them really slippery. So here's your iPhone X, and actually, I don't know if this one has it or not, but looking at all of the scanners, let me get to the bottom and see if this has all the scanners on it. So many different Apple things. No, this does not. I thought I had one with all of the scanner stuff. But to see what all's in there, so right in that gap, let me find that picture again. Okay, so right in this gap that's up here, what you end up having is, oh, you know where it was? I think it was over here. No, that's not it. Nope. Okay. Anyway, I can't remember where I saw that picture, but that black gap in the top has an IR sensor, the camera, other face biometric readers, light sensors, proximity sensors, all that kind of stuff. So this thing's got sensors out the wazoo up there on the front. And basically what their Face ID is doing is it is scanning faces and utilizing that to unlock, which basically means that it doesn't work nearly as well as the fingerprint reader does. Of course, the big deal is they say everything stays on the phone. It doesn't go up to the cloud, but that doesn't stop some people from asking some fascinating questions, including Al Franken. So he asks Tim Cook this to respond to this. He wants more information on the Face ID. So the facial recognition are the core features unveiled the iPhone 10. Detail the device reliance on facial recognition technology are still emerging. I'm encouraged by the steps Apple says it's taken to implement system responsibility. However, substantial questions remain, and how it will impact the iPhone users' privacy and security. Whether the technology will perform equally well on different groups of people to offer clarity, millions of Americans use your products. I asked that you provide more information about how the company has processed these issues internally, as well as any additional steps that it intends to take to protect the users. So they announced the highly anticipated features, an edge-to-edge screen, meaning the device will not include a home button, instead relying on Apple's fingerprint technology or Touch ID. A user will be able to unlock the phone and confirm purchases through iOS by holding the device up and allowing it to recognize his or her face. The senior vice president of marketing said the new technology, nothing has ever been simpler or more natural, except it's really not. Because to currently use it, you hold the thing up with the thing in front of the register while you... Cat. The cat wants to click buttons, apparently. No. That's my mouse. Leave my mouse alone. So you currently hold the phone up. The cat is pushing buttons on the mouse. All right, you hold it up and then hold the fingerprint there, which is a much more natural than doing this and then doing this and then doing this. Is just kind of creepy and kind of Orwellian in and of itself. Which consequently, I watched 1984 today. Whoa. Cat's doing funky stuff with the chat box. Okay. And so basically, so since the announcement, reporters and advocates, the iPhone users have raised concerns about how Face ID could impact the Americans' fundamental right to privacy. What fundamental right to privacy? If Americans really had fundamental right to privacy, you'd tell companies to stop collecting data unless we specifically opt into it. All right. But regardless, he speculated on ways in which Apple could just use faceprint data in the future and question the quality and security of the technology. For example, it has been previously reported that many facial recognition systems have a higher rate of error when tested for accuracy in identifying people of color, which may be explained by a variety of factors, including lack of diversity in the faces that were used to train a system. Furthermore, some have expressed concerns that the system could be fooled and thus the device unlocked by a photo or mask of the owner of the device. Says, I've previously highlighted in communications with Apple regarding Touch ID, there are significant differences between the privacy and security of passwords versus that of biometric data, such as fingerprints and face prints. Unlike a password, an individual's face print is permanent, public, and uniquely identifies the owner. As a result, should a bad actor gain access to face print data that Face ID requires, ramifications could last forever, particularly if Apple's biometric technology comes to be used in other devices and settings. Furthermore, Apple, if itself could use the data to benefit other factors, benefit other sectors of its business, sell to third parties for surveillance purposes, or receive law enforcement requests to access its facial recognition system. Eventual uses may not be contemplated by Apple customers. For this reason, it is incumbent to Apple must provide transparency. So they have, and he has a lot of questions here, and those are very fine questions. The way any technology emerges, it starts with kind of standing on a slope going, well, at least they're not sending that data to Apple. But at what point in time do they turn a switch and do it? So, for example, if you look at and track how Facebook shares data, when Facebook first launched, everything was private. But slowly it got to the point where, things are starting to become public and more public. And right now, if a person in 2017 creates a Facebook account, everything is public by default. That's how the slippery slope goes. That's how we stand on the edge and we tumble down. Because what happens is we get so used to the scanner that when they start sending that to Apple just to secure it on your cloud device, now you have just a little bit of a fit again, but eventually the fit goes away. And that's the slippery slope. And that's why I block the camera and I block the fingerprint reader, because I don't trust them. I will use a password. Thank you very much. I do not need to save. Okay, watch this. This is shocking, okay? I logged into my phone. Shocking. Do I need to save 1 second off of doing that? This is insane. This is standing on a slippery slope where we are starting to use an unchangeable, permanent, public feature of ourselves to secure our data on a company that has proven it will change its policies as it wishes. Sure, the Face ID stuff stays locally on the phone right now. But what happens if I want to push that up to a cloud? What happens when there was, what happens when, like, for example, with the 2016 MacBook Pros, right? Looking at the 2016 MacBook Pros, now you can do all the stuff with the fingerprint. At what point in time will they have the facial recognition on that, just like Windows 10 has, which, by the way, people aren't making a big enough deal about, because for sure that stuff goes to Microsoft. Okay? At what point in time will they sync your computer and your phone through the ID recognition? So if you want to sync the computer, right now they did put in another feature that it requires you to enter the passcode for the phone on the computer screen. At what point in time will you have to look in the camera on your computer screen and at your phone at the same time? Maybe hold them side by side so it can compare that it's you. At what point in time will that happen? And that will be a cloud-based premise. And that, folks, is scary. So, yay on you, Al Franken. We need to stop. We need to stop. Stop just letting these tech companies do what the tech companies want to do. We got to stop becoming silly little crazy, I want a new phone. We need to start being intelligent. Start being intelligent. Okay? We need to stop giving this much power to a company. We need to stop letting the companies dictate what they're going to do. We need to stop allowing the companies to collect the data. We need to stop and say no more biometric tracking. We need to tell Microsoft. We need to tell Apple, folks, and this is why I use Linux. I want control without me having to give up all of these rights. And if a Linux distro, as much as we got too many Linux distros in a Linux world, if Mint starts going the way of Windows 10 and starting doing that kind of biometric tracking stuff, I'm switching distros. Because I can put Cinnamon on Fedora, I'm probably on Fedora. I can put Cinnamon on Debian and it works just fine. You know, and if that doesn't work, then I'm sure I can find a Linux distro that's going to agree with my premise a little bit more. And that's the thing. We need to stop rolling over and letting these companies dictate what we are going to do with our own private data. We need to stop giving up our biometric data just so we can log in 1 second faster. For the love, people. For the love. Let's have a look at some comments. Fedora, what edition or spin? Okay. I didn't know the full capabilities of Facebook tracking so far. Let's see. I think I've already gotten down to that point. My cat's into zip ties. Yeah, my cat's got some zip ties floating around here somewhere too. Go back to your baby Linux Mint and forget Debian, pain in the butt. Debian, I mean, I did my 5 good points about Debian. This Monday, I'm going to do my 5 bad points about Debian and my final analysis of the Debian system. I like the Debian system, but it is a little bit of a pain. It's not that big of a pain, but I'd use Debian if Mint starts doing biometric tracking, that's for sure. I'm hosting with HostGator, a couple business pages with domain email accounts. Maybe a personal email domain is best. I personally just use my business ones, but you could very easily. And it's, you know, I mean, what's a domain cost you a year? $10? That's manageable. Kitty wants to take over the host. Yes. Yep, he does. He does. I have my own domain, but I host my email on Zoho. Free sign up to 20 accounts. Okay, cool. Kitty always wants to take over. He thinks he's a star. I think he is. Kitty, you're the star, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, I tried using GNOME and it's horrible. Used to be one of the most customizable desktop environments. Now it's a shell of its former glory. Yeah, that's the thing, the beef I have with it. I can't customize this at all, and I really don't like how it looks. But there's other issues I have. I'll get into it in a couple of weeks when I'm done with the Ubuntu. Why did they change the blue thumbs up to black? I have no idea. Anyone here using Void Linux? No, I'm not personally. Someone else might be. GNOME is the most feature-rich. Not in my experience. Still rocking my 2012 Android phone. LOL. I got this bad boy right here, a little burner phone. Actually, this is what I use when I'm doing my running because it's completely not tied to me at all. It's just a basic burner phone. I think I gave it a fake social security number or something when it wanted some numbers. Like, I'm not giving you a social security number. I think I made up a string of numbers. Because, you know, basically I use that to map GPS data for my maps, to map my runs and things like that. So it's my ability to have some functionality without actually having functionality, but I could not find, if anybody knows of anything that I could port onto this that doesn't have the Google apps, that'd be cool. What is this? In the event anybody knows, this is a LG, I don't know, what is it? It's some crappy made in China LG. LG VS415PP, little $20 Walmart burner phone. Works great to throw in my pocket. I can throw music on it if I want to. Usually I don't, but you know, it can play me music. It can be a little secondary MP3 player, and it can tell me how long I've been running for. So. All those phone features make your life more smarter and easier. Just forget everything and use it. Yeah, okay. KDE is the most customizable. I think I agree to that. I like, in fact, I think sometime maybe this week I'm going to do an apologetic why I used Cinnamon and not KDE, despite I love KDE and I love KDE for my media PCs, but there's 2 major issues with KDE that prevent me from using it as a daily driver. And I'll talk about that in another video. Apple says they are secure, which is to me BS because how can one know for sure? Therefore, Apple can say what they want. Yeah, I don't believe them. I do not want to trust any company have that data because I got news for you. The absolute best way to make sure you cannot access my personally photographs, they're not on the internet anywhere. Shocking. Still using my Nokia N8. I can still have a spare case. In case I break it, actually I sent back Android phone is going to upgrade too because it was too big to hold comfortably in one hand. You can see a mugger or copper border guard. Just point this phone at your face and bingo, it's unlocked. That's the biggest concern, Nick. That is one of the big concerns about it, is what prevents a mugger from grabbing the phone and forcing you to unlock it. It is illogical to say something is secure because it can be, because it is produced by a certain company. Yep. Kitty wants to send important messages by clicking Morse code. Probably. Kitty, you want to send messages? Yeah? All right. Apple uses ad hominem attacks to discourage jailbreaking. Yep. See you later, Joey. You're probably gone by now, but see ya. Only fewer DEs are totally different from Mac and Windows, but the rest of DEs similar, mimicking Windows. KDE is one of them. Yeah, I think Cinnamon is the most mimicking of Windows, and that's actually why I like it, because the Windows environment, like it, hate it, call it old, call it out of date, whatever, it is highly productive. I mean, at least for me, and you know, different people have different work habits. For me, the Windows environment is highly productive because I'm a very habitual type person. I have been used to how Windows works. Start menu in the lower left corner. Click on the lower right corner to minimize everything. Very fast file transfers. That's why I use Cinnamon. It has every bit of that. You can call it an old system, and antiquated if you want. I don't care if it's antiquated. It works. Call that pragmatism. I think Kitty wants to go on a tender to find him a mate, but hey, I could go wrong. Ooh. Kitty, you're trying to hook me up. You trying to hook me up? If you hook me up, I'll have less time to spend with you. That's right. That's right. He's over here looking at me right now. He's like, yeah, I know. Apple does not provide transparency at all. They're very transparent. They're as transparent as a brick wall. Not that much. Had a bit of issue back in time. Wasn't the Void's fault. Hope I'll look it up once again. Okay. You can make KDE look different than Windows. Yeah, and you could make KDE look exactly like a Mac. You can make it look exactly like Windows. You can do anything with KDE you want. That's really what's cool about KDE. But in passcode only takes me 5 seconds or less. Yeah, that's the thing. Mostly GNOME is far different, and that made Linux desktop unique. FYI, I'm an ex-KDE user. See, I don't care if it's unique. I care if I can use it quickly. And GNOME, I can't. It just gets in the way of how I work. Still store my personal files on the hard drive instead of the Google Drive. Yep, I don't have anything in it. Well, I think I might have 2 or 3 spreadsheets that I share with some clients back and forth on Google Drive. But it's not my modus operandi to put everything I do or to do everything on Google Drive. I'm off one. Yep. Philly thing is so silly. Yep. Yep. Tom thinks about using Deepin Linux OS, Chinese spyware. I actually have a video on Deepin. Did it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Just look at my video archive, search for Deepin. Have my laptop along with my wife, laptop electric tape on the camera, and fingerprint scanner, and my microphone plug has 3.5 cut off from a dollar store. Yep, you can actually get... got one here. Little microphone plug. This actually came with, this is what it looks like on the bottom part. This actually came with a an old micro cassette recorder. But that prevents my my main work laptop from actually having microphone access day in, day out. Beauty of Linux is there are so many variations to escape to. Yep. Yeah, I'm on fire for that. Yep. Okay, Librem 5 phone crowdfunding looks like it's pale. 37 days left. And you know what? I am a little sad about that because if you didn't follow the news, the KDE Plasma Mobile is teaming up with them, and I think that's a horrible idea. And the reason is I would like the phone now, and I get why they're doing it, but the problem is what they're going to do is now they're going to focus all of their efforts on getting that phone to work. And now you only have one option, so it forces you and still ties you and forces you to be in one company. And that's the whole reason I want to use Linux. I do not want to be tied to one company. And on top of that, their smartphone's like $600-700. I'm not a guy that pays $600-700 for a smartphone. You know, this guy here, I think I paid $250-300 for it. It's an iPhone SE because I look for deals. I hunt around. I want to know that there's X number of phones out there on the market. I can port something like Ubuntu to, or I can port something to Plasma Mobile or any other Linux phone. I want to know that there are other phone models out there that I can port things to. And then I want to go on a hunt for that phone on a deep deal. That's what I want to do. And KDE Plasma Mobile teaming up with Purism to have one phone and one model sold by one company is a smack in the face to what we're supposed to be about. That's kind of my thought. So I'm saddened by that, and hopefully the development will continue on the phones they have, because I really want to play with Plasma Mobile. I'm not going to be buying a $600 phone to do it. Not going to happen. I can do the sudo Linux route, get any old phone, and port something onto it that doesn't have Google Apps. And I'd be just as happy. I'd prefer to have something like a Plasma Mobile, but not if I'm locked into one company with one $700 phone. That's my thought. What if Kitty is a Russian hacker? Kitty, are you a Russian hacker? Yeah? No? He is refusing to respond. Pain, but Debian is far better than Ubuntu. The privacy phone. Brian Linduke had somebody from their company on a show recently. Yeah, the Librem has Purism is the company. Pure.is. Or Purism. I don't know. Whatever. It's Purism with the dots in there somewhere. That's the company, and yeah, they have Linux computers, and they're working on a Linux phone, which is cool, but I wouldn't buy it because I just don't buy phones in that manner. However, that might be what needs to happen for Linux phones to take off to begin with. Why did Apple release the iPhone 8 and 10 all at once? Didn't they just want to wait? No, the reason is because A, they're starting to get people used to no home button and face scanning without killing the current option. So better believe it, within a year or two, they're going to do away with options with the phones, and everything is going to be biometric on the phones. This is a subtle rollout plan. This is a strategy to get people used to something that's radically extreme. Secondly, though, they want to push out the ability to have the highest thing. You guys see what the price tag is on that iPhone 10? It's $1,000. $1,000 for a phone that has biometric data to lock and unlock. Creepy. Apple has had data breaches. Remember the iCloud leaks, nude celeb photos. Yep. Hey, Thirsty Fox. How's it going there? Person's head of Librem Find phone. Alright. Just know what ARM CPU it'll use. I think they actually have specs of their let me find their site. I believe they have specs. Okay. Yeah, they are only 23% in on that. Let's see. Do they give us any of the specs? All right. So here's their site. It's puri.sm if you want to go here. And this is the information about the phone, which originally was going to run Debian with GNOME, but now there was an announcement just this weekend that Plasma Mobile is teaming up with them. So, does not run Google Android, does not run iOS. Purism by default can run most Linux distros. End-to-end decentralization. 2G, 3G, 4G, GSM, UMTS, and LTE. So possibly not Verizon. Verizon's only CDMA. Or CM, whatever that is. CPU separate from baseband, and there's hardware switches to kill a lot of things. Let's see. It's an all or nothing. If not enough backers, credit cards are not charged. Just means there's no risk to support. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, maybe they don't have the specs up. I thought they had the specs up on the phone, but maybe they don't. All right. How do you boil a live frog? Yep, just turn up the heat bit by bit. That's right. Watched your campaign video, and honestly, I don't know who made the decision. It was a good one to release it raw like that. Maybe it's because of low budget. I don't know. Problem for people that have old Android phones, they become a security risk if you can't update them. Yes. Samsung provides some transparency with one of its models with a transparent case. What more could you want? That's right. They're very transparent. Their batteries explode. That's transparent. Got high hopes for the Ubuntu phone. Well, the UB Ports took over the Ubuntu phone. So if you go over there, they're actually, it's UB Ports, I think. So the Ubuntu phone is still under development under a different group of people picked it up. So it still exists. Let's see. So here is UB Ports. It's ubports.com. And so what basically it was just a group of developers that took it over. And let's see if I can find the devices. So their core devices are the OnePlus One, Fairphone 2, Nexus 5. Pre-release devices, Optimus L90, BQM10s. There's some legacy devices here and some development devices which are on their radar. These may or may not work sometime soon in the future. But yeah, there's so UB Ports is taking over the Ubuntu phone. So if you want to stay up on that, go keep an eye on them over at UB Ports. All right. Biometric system is for more data collection. Yes, it is. I myself love KDE, but I find I'm not productive. I find myself getting lost in customization. Yeah, I pretty much set it up once, and I don't really change it much. Maybe I might change it every few months, but, you know, like my Mint computer, I set it up a while ago, and I really like it, so I don't have any plans to change it. And same with the Debian system I have running KDE. Separate security updates from the regular updates and have Google Server security updates directly. Absolutely. I completely agree. And that's what I would like, because like every time, like when I had the Galaxy S5, man, that thing would force you to update. I didn't have a choice in the matter, and then it'd give you all these new feature crap that I don't want. You know, it's like, I don't want this crap. I used to give you those plugs and those micro recorders. Yes, that's where I got it. It's for blanking tapes and micro cassette recorders. Solus is also very productive. You can use like Windows or Mac. Yep, Solus is pretty cool. I don't pay more than $300 for a phone. That's the thing. I don't either, and that's why I'm not going to buy a Purism phone, at least until I can find one on a used market, because I'm not going to pay that much money for a phone. I think it's foolish to pay that much money for a phone. I mean, unless you're independently wealthy, but most people are not. And, you know, it just pushes people into buying things they can't afford, and I think that's a problem. Okay, price tag seems steep considering its crowd is geared for. Yep, that's the thing, and I think it's going to be doomed to fail because of that. The good news is it has some on-off switches and runs pure Linux, which is good. Because even Plasma Mobile right now sits on top of Android. Remember when the phones were never biometric and had home buttons? Yep, I missed those. Also need to buy more cheap laptops dedicated to Linux. Okay, yep. But we also need buy more cheap laptops dedicated to Linux. System 76, and that's true, you know. I can go down, and I have not had any problem at all going to Best Buy, picking up any computer, and I buy them off of the already open. And if you get good at negotiating, you can talk the guy down an extra 10% on what's already on the thing. Like, go in there and waving some dollar bills. You know, I don't want to spend all these dollar bills on that. If you can take 10% more off on that open box computer, right here, these dollar bills can be yours. Ooh, smell the Benjamins. And they'll usually do it. And I've never had any problem going in, and almost all the hardware I have, that's where I get it. I go to Best Buy and I get open box deals, and it works great. I haven't had any issues with anything, and I just wipe what's on there and install Linux, and it works. It works great. But yeah, that's true. I mean, I've looked into System 76, and I've looked into, what's the other big one? I thought there was another big one too. I mean, there's Pogo Linux. That's not the one I'm thinking of. System 76. I thought there was one other one. Maybe not. But they're too expensive. They're too expensive. I don't pay that much money for stuff. I don't. I look for deals. And the problem is I can't find deals of computers pre-running Linux. So $1,000 that I can do so much with that, yeah, I mean, I'd rather save the money. All right, looks like third-party repair shops might be able to repair iPhone X and later, if at all. Yeah, might not be able to repair them. Probably not. I think the whole thing's like glass. Okay, hope other companies will not follow suit and keep their phones the way they are. Well, I mean, almost all phones now are starting to include fingerprint readers, but I agree. I just wish we'd get a basic smartphone without all this telemetry crap or biometric crap. That'd be fine by me. Hope other companies will not follow suit. Okay. Am I the only one who loves to save money, even though I'm not a Jew, but I sure look like it when it comes to saving money? I don't know. Okay. Why does everyone copy even the bad things Apple does? Yeah, like getting rid of the iPhone jacks. No, I will not buy a phone without with headphone jack. I said the iPhone jack. Yeah, well, iPhone jack to the headphone jack. That's for sure. And the thing is that right anymore, following what Apple does is suicide because they're not innovating anymore. They're not really doing anything exciting. I take the base Android image, modify it to my own making. Yep. Apple design decisions these days are mind-boggling. Yep. Use the Nexus 7 tablet. Don't know how long that will last. It's a really good tablet. Not aware of companies to allow you to design the laptop the way you want, but you can do it with System 76, but the options are limited. Yep. My old Android phone and installed Arch Linux, but it had to be installed to the SD card. I'd do that. I'd install to an SD card. Update the phone. My Android is from 2012, which has not been updated in years. Is that a bad thing? Maybe, but it works. That's the thing. And if you don't have anything on your phone that's worth stealing, then, you know, like, I clear the photos off my phone. I clear the emails off my phone. There's really nothing on my phone that, you know, somebody would hack into my phone. That'd be a very boring experience. Let's get the pic. There are no pictures on here. Let's get the. There's no emails. Let's get. What? There's no music? What? Whose phone did we hack? I don't know. If I want to put a Threadripper in it, modified keyboard layout without all the superfluous keys nobody uses, etc., there's nowhere to go. Okay. No, Anna, we all like to save money. Apple has successfully cast a spell to its followers. Except to Tom. With exception to Tom. Okay. All right. Someone needs to take 17 and 18-inch Ultrabook, preferably 1610 or 15. All right. Let's see. One good thing about Ubuntu 17.10 or later is they are finally doing away with Compiz as the composer. Yeah, I turned on Compiz on my Linux Mint KDE, and I think that's why it runs slow. My favorite companies to get computers or devices is Asus. They seem to respect Linux users. Huh. Okay. Cool. System 76 prices are insane too, but better configurations are like $7,000, $8,000. Multiplied by 3.5 to account for my currency value and have a $25,000 laptop. Hey man, that's a good deal. Do they plate it in gold for you? Where I live, they have a store called Fry's Electronics where you can pay to have a custom-built computer. Yeah, you can't find those too many places. There's actually one in State College. Actually, I think there's 2 places in State College you can get a custom-built computer. I imagine it's expensive. I don't know. I wanted to do local business with them, but even if I buy a hard drive for them to install myself, they still want to charge me a 30% installation fee. I said, if I'm not having you install it, guys, I have an IC dock on the front of my computer. Okay, installing means pushing a button and sliding a drive in. That's how I swap my operating systems. Bluetooth, yeah, there's a big security risk on Bluetooth right now, so update your Bluetooth devices for sure. All these people copying Apple or giving Android devices a bad name, making it appear to be a poor man's iPhone. Yeah, that's true. Like, I'd like each company to maintain something independent, some reason to use that company rather than someone else, you know? Can install Arch, Linux, ARM, or Gen 2 ARM Edition on an Android phone so long as it's rooted and to the SD card. Huh. Don't need an ARM Edition. My Android tablet, Intel inside, and even has UEFI bootloader. I'll have to look into that for my tablet. So I have a tablet that's a pretty nice tablet. It's a basic Android tablet. It'd be very nice if I could do something different with it than what I have. I'd even buy a new tablet to maintain a tablet for compatibility testing, you know, to do something like that. Well, that was a long foray to the comments. Let's go ahead and get back to the news. We are on our 1984 topic now. 1984. Where's my privacy? There's my 1984 script. Oh, not that one. We're going to start here. This is funny. South Park decides to mess up with Google Home and Amazon Echo devices. Apparently, they basically did a show where all of the different South Park kids had these different smart devices just so that they can mess with all the different things. And by the time the episode was over, they would add all sorts of exciting things to your shopping list, including, let's see, they would set an alarm for 7 a.m. and put a set of hairy balls on your shopping list. Okay. So you can come over here and you know, listen to these clips. It's really hard to hear what these people are saying, but pretty much this episode will mess with it. And thank you, Alexa, for making my Alexa say big hairy ball South Park. Alrighty then. South Park is confusing my Google Home. Hey, kitty, would you like to confuse an Alexa? What do you think? Yeah? Yeah, he didn't catch South Park anyway. But anyway, since we're talking about Google Home and Alexa, order unicorn meat. There, I had to do my my obligatory ordering me unicorn meat stuff. What can you do to mess with Google? Okay, Google, set an alarm for 7 o'clock a.m., 8 o'clock a.m., 9 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock a.m. So, and this is a problem with all these smart devices. And I hope that this episode, I don't watch South Park. I think it's fairly tasteless. I think that I would hope that this episode would make people think twice about having an always connected and always listening device in their house. And if that's the intention, then kudos to you, South Park. I still probably won't watch this episode because I think the show, like I said, is fairly tasteless. But to each his own, I guess. All right, this is exciting. In light of Google collecting all this data from your always connected device, yeah, they're just going to stop challenging U.S. warrants for overseas servers. Let's go ahead and clarify, though, what we mean. What this does not mean is that just because a search warrant is asked for, it does not mean that they're going to roll over and hand over the stuff. What this boils down to is there was a case with Microsoft like last year or so where some servers were stored in Iceland, and they said we're not giving the data over because the data is not within the United States jurisdiction where the warrant was issued. So, of course, the Rule 41 went into effect, basically allowing, jurisdictionless warrants, but still Microsoft won the case because the server wasn't even in the country. And that kind of set a little bit of a precedent, but the government's been pushing back. And so what this applies to is a company can no longer sit back and say, well, that server is overseas, so we cannot comply with the warrant. And so Google right now they'll still challenge a warrant. So if they come and say, we want XYZ person's user data, Google will still do what they can to try and not just give up the data, because they actually do that, but they're not trying to challenge the fact that the servers are overseas anymore. And that's kind of what's going on with this case. So just keep that in mind, that you know, despite this cloud is all over the place, but just because the cloud is stored in Switzerland doesn't mean that it's safe, as long as the United States company has access to it. And that's kind of what the case is boiling down to, and what the countersuit appealing to Microsoft is saying is, hey, if you're a US-based company and you can access that server from the United States, we should be able to gain access to it. That's kind of what's going on here. Just something to keep in mind. And then next there is, in light of all of the ISP guys bribing, apparently, the current administration into eliminating the privacy rules for ISPs, California is attempting to put in their own privacy laws, and the big internet companies are sitting here spreading a lot of misinformation that is, quite honestly, stupid. Like, what kind of brain-dead idiot do you have to be to actually believe what these ISPs are trying to say? So, basically, one of the things they're saying here is, basically they're saying, oh, well, this is going to vastly increase the amount of pop-ups, and this is going to hurt the security of our users. Okay, how does it hurt the security of your users if the ISP is forced to not collect and store data? When the ISP is forced to stop collecting and storing data, security inherently goes up because there's nothing to hack. But these guys are just spreading so much misinformation, and this is the modus operandi of all of these guys. It's like when they start talking and what they're saying makes no sense. But then the people listening to it just go, I just don't get it. And so that's just kind of crazy. And let's go ahead and have a look at this a little bit further here. Basically, this is the EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, kind of tearing apart what the ISPs are saying. Number one, the line number one is that this will prevent internet providers from stopping future cyber attacks. So forcing the ISPs to not store your data, not collect your data, and not keep your data laying around somehow increases. No. The cyber hacks will go down because there's nothing to steal. Well, number two, it will lead to pop-ups. I'm still thinking about how this works. So, by a California law saying you cannot store and collect data without users' consent is going to lead to a lot of pop-ups. Well, only if the ISP annoys the bejeebers out of your user until you finally acquiesce and say, no more pop-ups, make it stop. Just don't be an unscrupulous internet company. Have one pop-up a year. Would you like us to collect data this year? No. Of course, I logged into Verizon the other way to double check if my bill's ready to be paid or not yet. And what do I get? Big pop-up advertisements for the new Hub program. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Remember, that's that one where you can opt in and give all of your data to all these third-party marketers so they can collect everything that you do on your phone for movie tickets. No, thank you. I'm not brain dead, thank you. No, I'm not brain dead. Sorry. Not brain dead at all. Oh, number three, it will expose you to hackers. No. No, it doesn't expose you to hackers because there's no data to hack. What kind of crack are these ISPs smoking that they're trying to spread this information? And they're trying to do the same things they did with net neutrality. It's like probably well over half of the net neutrality, the pro net neutrality stuff, or the anti, well, I don't even know anymore. Half of the stuff against the good thing was misinformation spread by the ISPs. So, just keep in mind, that's kind of crazy. Hey, what would be a show without Microsoft? So Windows 10 Creators Update, they're shaking up the privacy settings even more. You now have even more control. You can tell certain apps what they can and cannot use. Again, you just can't block Microsoft from having all that unless you are enterprise. So basically now any app will have, you'll have a separate login. You used to have these for location services. Now you have it for location, microphone, camera. So in theory, this is a better thing, but still all this data still goes to Microsoft. Of course, And the only reason I really included this article is because of this line. Finally, for Windows 10 enterprise users, Microsoft is adding a new setting that limits diagnostic data collection to the minimum required for new Windows Analytics service. Windows Analytics helps administrators perform inventory tracking, monitoring operating system and application crashes, assesses system readiness for upgrades, and similar. To do this, it needs to collect some information from each machine about hardware, software, crashes, and so on. The new setting should provide all the diagnostic data to Windows Analytics needs, but nothing extra. Oh, so Windows 10 enterprise users, you can add a setting that will limit it down to only what it needs. When you get into philosophy, you have an argument called thesis and antithesis. Thesis and antithesis, okay? Thesis means what is the point? What is the concept? What are we talking about? And antithesis means the opposite thereof. Keep this in mind. A Windows 10 enterprise user now has a brand new setting. It will limit the diagnostic data to the minimum required for the Windows Analytics service. What is the antithesis of that statement? Well, A, non-Windows 10 enterprise users, they don't have any control at all. And B, what have you been collecting all this time? Fascinating questions to ponder. Fascinating questions to ponder indeed. You know, Microsoft is getting creepier. They're getting creepier. Windows 10 enterprise users, you can now, but by the way, did you see that you cannot turn off the analytics altogether? I'm sure you probably can figure it out. Shell hacks can probably do it, but this is creepy, folks. This is creepy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we ready for some scary stuff? Raise your hand if you are a sports fanatic who has lost your ever-loving mind. Because if you go to the Ravens game, is that this weekend? On Sunday? Origin, which is a DNA biomarker company, is handing out free DNA tests to everybody. So if you attend the football game, you can get a free DNA kit. Of course, that means that you have to, scan the little QA tracker with your phone, create an online account for them, and you get a free DNA sample test. Are you ready for the collection bins? Here's their Twitter page. Drop your DNA tests right here around the stadium. I'm gonna cry now. Just slip your DNA sample right in here. With your DNA and all of this information about you after you just created your new account, probably with your unsecure hacked phone. No, we haven't updated Apache struts either. Just slip them right on in here, and some idiot's going to walk out the back door with this garbage can looking thing like, hey, I got lots of people's DNA samples and full identity. Oh, God. I am so incredulous. So what is this company? This moronic idiocy, imbecilicy of a company, their entire model is to figure out what your ancestry happens to be. Get your free DNA sample here, which, by the way, I didn't look this up. This article actually was just published later today, I think. And I got news for you, I didn't look this up, but you know that almost every single one of these DNA tests, they're completely not secured. It's like those AWS clouds where people aren't securing things. So if you go out to this football game this weekend, I believe Ravens is a football game. You go out to this football game this weekend, you can get a free DNA test. Just drop it right on into our awesome trash can, collecting all of your DNA samples and everything that we need. Don't forget to create your online account with the app, so you can you too can know the origin. Now, I'm not into sports, but somebody tell me, is Ravens flock like... Okay, we're so excited to play a featured role in enhancing the Ravens flock experience. Excuse me, I'm going to go vomit now. This is the first time DNA tests are being distributed to fans at a football stadium, and we believe this is an incredible opportunity to reach many people at once. Ravens DNA Day is a perfect way to kick off the season and our unique partnership. Fans will receive free DNA test kits as they enter the stadium. Ravens DNA Day is certainly one of the most innovative events a partner has ever spearheaded, said Senior Vice President of Corporate Sales and Business Development for the Ravens. We are eager to start off the season with a cutting-edge community event, and we look forward to the future of our partnership with Origin. Origin is on a mission to advance the future of health. We believe everyone should have direct, affordable access to their genetic information, and reaching people with DNA tests on such a large scale is a natural and exciting way for us to demonstrate that. We're thrilled to be engaging the Ravens community with this monumental undertaking on DNA Day. Let's have a look at the comments. Still on Samsung Galaxy Core Prime phone as it works. Yep. All these people copying Apple, giving Android devices bad name. Okay. Reason another Linux custom build company. Here's good. Okay. I think I've written Gen 2. Yeah, okay. I don't need ARM Edition. My Android tablet has Intel. Let's see. HP computers are cheap and only popular because of marketing campaigns. A question about installing Linux and using it as both its own boot and also booting it as a VM from the other OS. I think there is a way to do that, but I do not recall. Apparently the Xbox One uses a VM for gaming and apps dashboard separately. Yeah, Microsoft's been separating things out into sandboxes like that lately, which is actually better for security, by the way. If one of those apps gets hacked, it can't get into the rest of the system. Android devices can be much better than Apple devices and has been done before. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I use the iPhone, and I've used the iPhone for a while because they are very good devices, but I mean, I've seen really good Android devices too. The Samsung Note, Samsung took note, one of the major Android vendors, from Note 7 situation and didn't repeat their mistake with 8. Yeah. Google collects data all the time. Now they're making it available to all the countries. Yep. Okay. Can't remember hearing some of the Windows telemetry has been stored on servers in dangerous companies. Yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, my Windows computer, even 8 with telemetry installed and 10, I was running packet sniffers. Data was going to Chinese servers. Russian servers. I don't know why. And it wasn't some hacked computer, brand new install, nothing on it. Let's see. I understand I need to refine to triple boot, but I'd like to be able to boot Linux partition from the other two as a VM. I don't trust ISPs with laws either. They can sell stuff as well. At least California's trying to protect it. They're trying. No more pop-ups. Make it stop. Yes, I agree. Greetings, Techno-Bismal. It'd be great if ISP stopped collecting data and just gave you access to the internet instead of all the unnecessary telemetry. Yes. Tried Linux USB Live first to see if it'll work on your system. Okay. And Tom will read the comments. He has a Mac laptop. No, I have a Mac, the little micro PC things. What is that? Mac Minis. I have a Mac Mini. Privacy bill will stop hackers. Probably. Works like a beauty from DVD. Still has the drive. I can either install it as a VM only or as a triple boot, but I'd like to use it as both. Opinion on Ad Nauseam extension. An ad blocker. Google took it off Google Store, but you can still download the extension. It contained malware, if I remember correctly. It's the minimum for Microsoft. Everything. You know it works when Google takes it off the store, unlike some other ad blocking extensions. And uBlock. Yeah, they just created a loophole to collect data from even enterprise systems. Yep. Why pay hundreds of dollars for an operating system that does not respect privacy when I get an open source operating system that does? Yep. Because you want to run Photoshop and you're like, but. It's funny because I had somebody this week was, all these things like you can get Photoshop to run like this. It's like, I'm not trying to run Photoshop on Linux. I have GIMP, I have Krita. I don't need Photoshop. Support tested. Let's see. All the companies are getting creepier. Yeah, companies are getting creepier. Yeah, they're collecting genetic data now. Yep. They're testing for stupidity. Very easy. Whoever puts the thing in that box. Send surfer aliens DNA to confuse the data collected because it has greater than 63 chromosomes. I cannot imagine the types of things they're going to get on those DNA swabs. I can only imagine. No, I can see Apple and Origin 3 teaming up. Windows will have nothing on them. Yeah. Swab your cat's litter tray before you go. DNS can be sold to the insurance companies to deny insurance. And that's the danger. That's the danger, is that I don't want my DNA out there somewhere, You even sell it to the insurance companies. When you need it, they'll deny it because you have a predisposed genetic to name the disease that probably doesn't exist. Gattaca. No, I don't remember a movie called Gattaca. Thoughts on apps that force you to log in with another account? I don't use them. Just read this week, 3,000 Swedish citizens have been microchipped. Can't post links here, but you can Google it. Oh boy. McGatcha, they collect DNA info to decide your position in society. Ooh. I have a feeling switching to Linux is not enough to stop privacy from being invaded. It's not. The thing is that Linux itself, it gives you a platform to be a little bit more secure, but you gotta take the extra steps to become more secure. You really gotta just stop using things that are not, that are not necessary. You need to stop filling out forms you don't have to. You need to stop signing up for email stuff. Like, I got some Subway coupons, just generic mailed Subway coupons in the mail. And it's like, oh, you can sign up here to get coupons delivered to your email every week. No, I don't need to be tempted to shop at Subway every week by email. That's the last thing I need. I'm walking around town, I'm getting things. Boop, I get an email. I look at it. It's a Subway coupon. I happen to be sitting next to Subway. I'm having a weak moment. And now I've eaten out, which already isn't healthy. And I'm spending money I didn't intend to spend, all because they sent me a coupon. I might have saved $3, but I spent $3 more I didn't intend to spend. And by the way, for all of you, like, Subway's healthier? I mean, calorie count is not actually an adequate number for anything. But if you do look at calorie counts, I generally eat more calories at Subway than I do at McDonald's. Keep that in mind. Well, would the stupidity itself be in your DNA? Well, it depends. It's frightening, all the joking aside, and the marketing spin that makes it sound like you're doing something great for you. I know. This is about collecting a bunch of people's data. I mean, that's all this is about. That is scary. Company started using RFID to track its own employees. Yep. Last worked for outfitted car trackers, and they lost a few reps because of that. Yep. Why are they spamming job search websites with postings leading to paid-for-take survey sites? I think it's another data collection tool, probably. Imagine data... Nope. You can imagine data being stored on servers in countries like Saudi Arabia and China, etc. Especially knowing Saudi Arabia is full of religious fanatics. Yeah, that's a scary thing. Arabia's law is based on nothing but an outdated ideology that is barbaric. It's called Sharia law. Sandman, no, the Swedes were microchipped to be able to travel on trains or company employee cards. Wait. I'll walk. Take this microchip to be on our train. No. Sounds like the mark of the beast. Let's end this on a almost positive note, I guess. I don't know. This is an interesting thing from Microsoft. So utilizing a series of VMs, they are creating this confidential computing cloud that basically cross-encrypts data that would, in theory, even be able to prevent Microsoft from being able to see it. And they're actually saying that, you know, this is here so that... you know, let's see, process used. Okay, so it's just changing the processor since I've seen it last. Virtual machine, so it's basically using a hypervisor with the Windows 10 servers, and they're kind of using this as a selling point to say that, hey, they can't even comply with a warrant for data stored on these servers. So this is the Azure cloud server, which is like Microsoft's version of Amazon AWS. So this is actually a neat concept, and it would be, you know, it's pretty cool if this actually does prevent administrators, warrants, hackers, and things from accessing the data because everything is kind of cross-encrypted. So that's actually, that guy there is certainly it. The last bit of really good news for Chromium and Chrome users is that they are now doing the same thing Safari is going to be doing with their next version, blocking autoplay videos. Now, from what I'm reading here, Apple actually blocks the videos. I think what Chrome and Chromium are going to look to do is to mute the audio, which I think is a worse thing. They're talking about the data stuff, but what I'm seeing in here is it just mutes the audio, or maybe it's a setting you can pick one or the other. And that is kind of it. That being said, however, what I'd like to go on and say here is that at least we're getting something. And the biggest culprits to these autoplaying videos, it's not even the ad scammer weirdos. It's the mainstream media guys. You know, those guys like, you know, those guys that get a free pass from demonetization because they're CNN or Fox. Those guys have the worst websites because you can't go to a website you just want to verify an article from a primary source. You go there and you get 16 Java ads going and then a video plays on top of that. It's like MySpace. Or, if we shall do it, if we shall actually go here, anybody see Face Space? Yeah, this is what your average news sites looks like. Yep, Face Space. Oh yeah, we got the bling going back and forth, man. This is what news sites look like. All right. But anyway, Chromium is taking some very good steps as well. Of course, this will be starting in Chrome 64. I don't know what that means for Chromium, but it's on the roadmap to make mainstream news sites less sucky. Oh, let's go ahead and have a look at some comments before we close out here. Let's see. All right. Okay, imagine the Saudi police can charge you with knowing what you did outside the country. Probably. Don't get drowned out by all the silly little things of modernity. I will never use a microchip for anything. Nope, I will not either. Nick, I'm a Christian. It's the mark of the beast that was revealed in the Book of Revelation. I would not be surprised. Remove the guidance chip to make room for the batter. All right. Well, couple other things, folks. I'm planning on doing the tinfoil hat times. Like I said, my Sundays are going to be tied up for a while. So I'm going to move my tinfoil hat times. In theory, I'm gonna try Saturday. So there should, in theory, be a tinfoil hat time tomorrow, and then I'm going to move outdoor philosophy to Sunday. Because those are usually pre-recorded anyway. And so that's kind of what we're going to do. Other things coming up within a week or so, maybe it might be 2 weeks. 1 week at the soonest, and possibly closer to 2 weeks, I'm going to be releasing my next book, which is a Christian book. And so I'm thinking, let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking about doing a live stream, maybe on both channels. I have a Christian channel also at Our Walk in Christ. I might do a live stream on both of them, but since that channel is very small because I'm just rebooting it for the first time, I might want to try and do it on Switch to Linux as well. Not that Switch to Linux is a Christian channel, but I just have more exposure doing one here. So I'll properly mark that as a warning, but what I will do is read various excerpts. We will have a great time. But I want to do an online book release for that when it's ready. And it will be released in a paperback, and it will be released in an ebook. And so that is something else that I have coming up on. And let's see, what else do we have going on? I'm not sure, so check the schedule tomorrow. We should, in theory, be doing a tinfoil hat time tomorrow. And let's see, Outdoor Philosophy Sunday. Monday is Linux Top 5, and then after that, we will figure that out. So let's see. Let me grab the Christian channel URL for those that would like to see that. All right. So here's the Christian channel. It's called Our Walk in Christ. This is it. What I do on here right now is I'm doing daily walks, and I do some in-depth Bible studies. Basically, these Bible studies are fascinating Bible studies on the foundations of Scripture, the things the church doesn't teach us anymore. Like, what is this big book called the Bible? Why do we believe in this big book by the Bible? What does the big book called the Bible actually teach us as Christians? And then my daily walk are videos where I just pick a topic and just kind of walk and talk about it for a little bit. So you can see those. And that's that channel there. And for those still on here, there is the link to it. So you can see that. But I will be releasing my second book on this. It's a Christian book, but I will be releasing it. I'll probably do a live stream here as well. What about the cooking channel? The cooking channel just takes me forever to get the right amount of footage and how to do it. And so, but yeah, in fact, I'm going to attempt to do a few more videos in the next couple weeks. What happened is I recorded the tacos, but I missed like 2 or 3 minutes of clips. And setting up the kitchen studio is an all-day thing. I literally have to set up a whole kitchen studio. And since I missed footage on everything I recorded, that's why the cooking channel has been slower. But anyway, what we'll do here is, and I'm going to try and get that out. In fact, I did buy some of the components that I needed to redo part of the cooking channel stuff. So I'm going to attempt to record some of those. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It depends on how long it takes me to prepare a tinfoil hat time topic, things like that. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and end this with maximum cuteness on the kitty cam, and we'll feed the little kitty. Yeah, you want some kitty food? Brought to you unofficially by Temptations. Hey, that's all you get. You just get 3. Yeah. All right. Good night, all. Have yourself a wonderful evening.